So hello once again. Let's move to the presentation of the second part, which is policy scenario methodology. So this is work package 5.4, transitional transfer of experiences, and I will be presenting the methodology of scenario making procedure, mainly provided by partners from Bulgaria and also from the study visit at Salzburg. The objectives were to provide useful and relevant scenarios to be recognized by relevant actors that are in charge of territorial development strategy, as well as develop all the documents dealing with development strategies. Our outputs were to highlight key changes and challenges until 2020, horizons, and both to spot the effects of internal and international migration, dealing with inflow and outflow of the population. Scenarios as such don't aim to be the only truth, to be very precise, but to be relevant, to give orientation, and to be considered as a starting point for strategic considerations. How do we describe scenarios? They are possible, preferable, and probable future developments, but of course we will never be sure that our projection is going to really take place, to occur. But of course we are more sure. We need to foresee what is going on and what are most likely events to be happening in a few years from now. So the scenario coverage definition can be split in geographical scope, which was South East Europe, temporal scope, which was 2020, and the thematic coverage, which was very broad. It covered three realms, mainly human capital, employment, and welfare. And indicators within these three realms were also chosen accordingly to EU 2020 strategy. Our target groups, as already said, were important stakeholders who can make territorial changes and who intervene in strategic planning. If I can briefly describe the procedure of scenario making, we started with demographic projections, then we choose the key indicators, we construct the scenario, and then we focused on policy impact at 2020. We came from indicators to scenario. First, we choose important indicators within the three mentioned realms, which is social policies, human capital, and employment. From here, we choose the important indicators, and according to the demographic projection that we done previously, or we obtained previously from basic and extended projection, we could make scenario analysis, because we were foreseeing what is most likely to be happening in the period of 6 years from now. So which were the criteria of selection of these key indicators? As I already mentioned, relevance and the goals or targets of European 2020 strategy. Also, it was important that these indicators were influenced by the demographic process and recognized by our important stakeholders, both institutional and non-institutional, which are 2020 indicators, mainly promoting sustainable and quality employment, investing in education and training. Here we talk about the dropout rate and completing of third level of education, and promoting social inclusion, where we are talking about risk of poverty and social exclusion. The scenario analysis was a mix of qualitative and quantitative analysis. The first step was qualitative, where we were choosing our qualitative indicators through consulting the relevant literature, discussing within our team, and talking with the experts or stakeholders through expert interviews and focus groups discussion. Then the qualitative analysis followed, which was done by econometric modeling. Project partners also provided minimum requirements, which means the minimum required indicators that we all should provide in order to make to compare between different members. Between different members. In the labor market, they choose activity rate, employment rate, unemployment rate, long-term unemployment rate. In the human capital realm, they choose student enrollment by ESET level population, by education attainment, tertiary education attainment rate, early leavers, and net rate. While in the last realm of social needs, they choose risk at poverty rate, severe material deprivation rate, people living in households with very low intensity, children aged from 0 to 3 years in day nursery, and children aged from 4 to 5 years in nursery school. So the procedure was the following. First, we described the current situation when we specified the country-specific context and a historical overview of each indicator. Then we moved to demographic evolution of the relevant age group, and then what are the impact of the demographic changes on the indicators, and what will this be at 2020 horizon. And then at the end, we made the cross-section analysis, where we took into account all the 3 policy realms according to the demographic influencing on these societal changes. So this will be the end of the second presentation, covering the procedure of scenario making. Thank you very much for your attention.